What's going on, family? And welcome back to United Top News, your home of sharp takes, deep dives, and the stories that actually matter. If you are new here, you picked the perfect day to join us. And if you're one of the regulars, you already know how we do it. Today's story, it's political, it's personal, and it could shape the future of two giants in European football. Because this is not just about a transfer, this is about power, this is about identity, and this is about decisions that go far beyond the pitch. Let's get into it. The future of Marcus Rashford at FC Barcelona may not just depend on performances or finances, it may also depend on politics. Barcelona's upcoming presidential election on March 15 could determine whether Rashford's move from Manchester United becomes permanent this summer. Now let's slow this down. Rashford is currently on loan at Barcelona. There is an option to buy him for 26 million euros. On paper, reasonable. On the pitch, productive. 10 goals and 13 assists. But his weight gets interesting. Preliminary presidential candidate Xavier Villanueva has publicly questioned whether Barcelona should even trigger that clause. And his reasoning? Look inside first. Villanueva, a former Barcelona executive and former head of La Masia, brought up one name when discussing Rashford, Jan Virgili, a teenage winger currently playing at Mallorca. 6 assists in his first senior season in La Liga. Barcelona have a clause to bring him back, and Villanueva made it clear. Why spend 26 million on Rashford when you might already have the solution within your own system? He told ESPN, "You should always look in-house first." Now that statement isn't just about tactics, it's about philosophy. Barcelona has always prided itself on La Masia, building, not buying. Rashford is 9 years older than Virgili. Experience versus youth. Immediate impact versus long-term identity. And that's the dilemma. Villanueva did add something important. If signing Rashford is the best sporting decision, the money will be there. But notice what he said before that. The president doesn't just arrive and make decisions. Alternatives are discussed. Options weighed. Then the final call is made. Translation? What it means, this transfer is not guaranteed. And here's where politics enters fully. Villanueva is one of 4 confirmed candidates in the March 15 election. He's going up against Juan Laporta, Marc Syria, Victor Font. And remember, Juan Laporta is standing for re-election again. So, depending on who wins, the Rashford deal could accelerate or quietly disappear. So now, Rashford's future isn't just about football. It's also about ballots. What injuries? Let me ask you something. Do you feel it? That tension before a Monday night away game. That uncertainty. That quiet storm building under the surface. Because this is not just Everton away. This is a taste of patience. A taste of recovery. A taste of belief. And at the center of it all stands one man. Calm, composed, observant. Michael Carrick. Here at United Top News, we don't just report Manchester United news. We live it, we feel it, we breathe it. And today, we are breaking down the latest team news ahead of Monday night's clash. One star aging closer to return, another still fighting his way back from the shadows. Let's slow this down and really understand what's happening. First, let's talk about a name that has almost faded from weekly conversations. Mason Mount. Remember January? Remember the trip to the Emirates against Arsenal FC? That was the last time we saw him in a matchday squad. Since then, silence. Injury. Another setback. Another pause in what has been a stop-start Manchester United chapter for him. He picked up a knock in training while preparing to face Fulham. Not in a match, not in a dramatic tackle, just training. And just like that, he was gone from the picture. But here's where it shifts. Carrick says he's getting closer. Now that might sound simple, but in football language, that means timing matters. It means they're not rushing him. It means they're protecting him. It means they understand that bringing him back too early could cost more in the long run. And let's not forget something important. Between September and December, Mount quietly built momentum. 14 consecutive games. No injury, no interruption. Rhythm, confidence, and he scored. Against Sunderland, against Crystal Palace Football Club, against Wolves. Moments where he looked sharp, alive, connected to the tempo of the team. That version of Mason Mount, United needs that version, especially away from home, especially in a stadium where intensity will be high from the first whistle. But while one name moves forward, another remains stuck in recovery. Matthijs de Ligt. And this one hurts, because before his back injury against Crystal Palace on November 30, he was untouchable. He had played every single minute of the Premier League season. Every single minute. That's not rotation. That's reliability. That's leadership. At one stage, Ruben Amorim suggested it would only be short-term, a brief setback, a quick return. But football rarely follows simple timelines. 3 months later, still sidelined. Carrick says he's working toward it, but he's behind Mount. And that tells you this is delicate. Back injuries are tricky. They don't shout. They don't always look dramatic, but they linger. And when you remove a player who has been your defensive constant, you feel it. Structure changes. Communication shifts. The backline adjusts. And then there is Patrick Dorgu, hamstring injury against Arsenal. He even spent time in Dubai last weekend trying to recharge mentally and physically. That tells you the schedule has been intense. The league has been relentless. This season hasn't been soft. Kobbie Mainoo is back, and not just back, flourishing. Ruben Amorim has been torn apart after what many are now calling a mind-blowing decision during his time at Manchester United. The decision? Demoting Kobbie Mainoo. Yes, the Kobbie Mainoo that we all know. One of the brightest young talents in world football. A player many fans believe represents the future of Manchester United. Under Amorim this season, Mainoo played just 228 minutes of league football. 228 minutes. For a player of his quality. For a player with his composure. For a player who has already shown he can control games at the highest level. And that decision is now under the microscope. Since the interim appointment of Michael Carrick last month, everything feels different. Carrick, 44 years old, former Manchester United midfielder, former England international, a man who understands what this badge means. Since taking charge following Amorim's sacking, Carrick has led the side to 4 wins in his first 5 games. 4 wins. And suddenly, Old Trafford feels alive again. But here's the key detail. One of Carrick's first big calls, he pulled Kobbie Mainoo straight back into the starting lineup. Back where many fans believed he should have been all along. Mainoo earned his first league start of the campaign in January against Manchester City. And what did he do? He didn't hide. He didn't look rusty. He didn't look like a player who had barely featured. He looked like one of the best players on the pitch. Calm on the ball. Confident under pressure. Running the game. And suddenly, the question became unavoidable. Why wasn't he playing before? The confusion that it wasn't just social media noise. It wasn't just frustration. Former players and pundits began speaking out, and one voice in particular did not hold back. Owen Hargreaves. He described the situation as mind-blowing. Mind-blowing that Kobbie Mainoo had barely played for a year. Hargreaves pointed out something simple but powerful. He said Carrick has changed the whole team. Put players back in their natural positions. Let Bruno Fernandes play as a number 10. Let him create. It's not rocket science, he said. And then came the line that hit hardest. How Kobbie Mainoo hasn't played football for a year is mind-blowing. One of the best young talents in the world, sitting on the bench, while the team struggled. That's a tough accusation. And then Joe Cole stepped in, echoing Hargreaves, backing Carrick, but also delivering another blow to Amorim. Cole described Carrick as elegant, but ruthless. Carlos Baleba, Brighton's powerful young midfielder. Last summer, Manchester United were heavily linked. Reports suggested personal terms had been agreed. Think about that. Personal terms. Which means conversations happened. Which means intention was serious. But Brighton stood firm. A valuation around 100 million euros. And United stepped away. They didn't overpay. They didn't force it. They walked. And sometimes walking away tells you more about a club's direction than completing a deal. But now Baleba has spoken, and his words are revealing. He admitted the speculation affected him. He said he feels more relaxed now. He said the outside noise, he didn't understand it. Imagine being 22 years old, linked with Manchester United. Every headline analyzing your future. Every performance dissected through the lens of a transfer. That pressure changes players. He avoided websites, focused on himself, focused on his teammates, focused on regaining control. Brighton have struggled this season, sitting 14th, only 7 points above the relegation zone. Only 7 points above the relegation zone. Only 7 points above the relegation zone. It hasn't been smooth. But despite that, Baleba has featured in almost every Premier League match, excluding his time representing Cameroon at the Africa Cup of Nations. And now, the transfer windows are closed. The noise has quieted. Casemiro is confirmed to be leaving this summer. And suddenly, the midfield conversation returns. Because when a door closes at Old Trafford, another opens.